This video is brought to you by soccerloco.com. Be sure to use coupon code SR4UX10 at checkout to receive 10% off any order of $75 or more. Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the indoor and turf versions of the Nike Tiempo Legacy. Now as you can see inside the box, whether you get the indoor or turf model, all you get are the shoes themselves. So we'll get these guys out of the box really quickly and take a closer look at the indoor and turf Tiempo Legacy. Now as you can see, this is the indoor version, this is the turf version. They're both made for two different types of playing surfaces, which I will explain in the video. Today we're going to go over all the details as far as how the shoe is made, the materials that it uses, how it fits, how it feels, and basically whether or not this should be your next pair of indoor shoes, of course depending on what you're looking for. If you guys are interested in a pair of these for yourself, check out the review page on my website. There'll be a link to that down below in the description. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. To start things off, let's talk about the differences between the indoor and turf variations and which version is going to be the best one for you, depending on which playing surface you're going to be using it on. Now, starting off with the indoor model, I think it's pretty self-explanatory that this is designed to be used indoors on a gym or a flat court or any type of flat playing surface, whether it be outdoors on concrete or asphalt as a street soccer shoe. That is also something you can use this as. But again, this type of a bottom is designed for any type of a flat, hard playing surface. Now, as you guys can see, it's made out of solid rubber. The actual pattern they have in here is pretty minimal as far as indoor soccer shoes go. There's not much flexibility to the rubber, but it does have a good thickness to it. So as far as durability is concerned, especially if you want to use this as a street soccer shoe, I would expect the sole on these to last a pretty long time. As far as traction is concerned, if the court is dusty, with most indoor shoes you are going to slip. This traction pattern doesn't necessarily help its cause. It's not a bad traction pattern, but certainly not the best one that I've ever come across. But like I said, the rubber is kind of hard, so because of the actual kind of composition of the rubber and the thickness of it, durability is definitely going to be a strong point with this particular outsole. And then of course you do have that lip that comes around the forefoot and toe box area with the nylon stitching, along with even the little sandpaper texturing around the edge. So durability, again, is not a concern here whatsoever. Now as far as the turf version is concerned, you can see it also features a very thick layer of rubber, that same overlapping toe, nylon stitching, and the sandpaper-like texturing. But of course this has little kind of circular nubs, I guess is the best way to describe them, as opposed to being completely flat. So this is designed for turf or artificial grass. So turf meaning kind of the flat carpet-like material that tends to be a little bit rough. That is what this is designed for predominantly, but you can also use this on a new artificial grass field, which obviously has the plastic blades of grass and the little rubber pellets. It's not going to provide as much grip on that type of a playing surface in comparison to Nike's AG shoes, but it still is going to perform well enough and definitely will get you by as far as traction is concerned. It just won't have the sensation of a shoe with actual studs. It's just kind of all over grip on the bottom of your feet, which some people actually prefer. Very stable sensation. And as far as the traction pattern is concerned, again, it's pretty straightforward as far as turf shoes go. You just have circular rubber nubs going across the entire base of the shoe. So you have that all over traction sensation. It keeps you nice and low to the ground because turf for the most part is fairly shallow. So you don't need them to really penetrate all that much. And again, you're going to get grip, but not too much grip. And that's really all you can ask for. So as far as which is the best, there isn't a best model here. It just depends on which type of playing surface you're going to be using them on. If you're going to be indoors or any kind of flat playing surface, the indoor version is definitely the way to go. Whereas if you're going to be playing on any kind of artificial grass playing surface, then this is definitely the way to go, the turf model. As far as if you're playing on both, which is the better option, indoor is not really going to provide much grip on artificial grass, and turf isn't going to provide much grip on indoor courts. Especially with this particular turf pattern, it seems to be pretty aggressive. So again, they really are best suited for one type of playing surface, unfortunately, as are most soccer shoes. So it's really up to you to determine which type of a shoe, which bottom is going to be most beneficial to the type of playing surface you're going to be using them on. And of course, durability is also going to be optimal if you're using the indoor shoe indoors and the turf shoe on turf. From the sole up, both the indoor and turf versions of the Tiempo Legacy are pretty much exactly the same, so we're going to go over all of those details right now. But before we get to that, the one thing that I will say does trouble me as far as recommending the Tiempo Legacy is concerned is that it retails for $100, which I don't think is too expensive, but it's the same retail price as the Nike Lunar Gato 2, which is a shoe that is only available in an indoor bottom. So if you need a turf shoe, then I guess this really isn't going to be too much of a struggle for you or an issue as far as deciding between the Legacy or the Lunar Gato 2. But the Lunar Gato 2 is definitely a premium shoe. It's not identical to the Legacy in terms of what you get, but it definitely is very similar and certainly matches it as far as quality is concerned. So let me know down below in the comments if you guys would be interested in seeing a comparison video between the Tiempo Legacy and the Lunar Gato 2, because they are the exact same price. And I'll kind of be mentioning throughout this video what the exact differences are and what you're getting or losing depending on which model that you pick. Now, starting off with the cushioning system on this shoe, this is going to be one of the major distinctions coming from the Legacy to the Lunar Gato, is that this shoe features a Phylon foam midsole as opposed to Lunarlon. Now, for those that aren't too familiar with Nike's foam cushioning systems, Lunarlon is considered to be one of their ultra premium types of foams that you find on their higher end running shoes. It's low profile, but at the same time, it has this very kind of highly cushioned, responsive sensation that Phylon foam has to a certain extent, but for me personally, it certainly doesn't feel as premium in comparison to Lunarlon. So again, certainly not a bad cushioning system on this shoe. You actually get a fair amount of underfoot cushioning with this particular model, as you would with the Lunar Gato 2. So you're still close to the ground, but still have some decent impact protection. Just keep in mind that it's not going to have that same ultra spongy, responsive sensation that you'll get from the Lunar Gato 2. As far as the upper is concerned, this is kind of where you're going to have some pretty significant differences as well as some pretty significant similarities between the Lunar Gato 2. Now, the upper is made from the same upper that you're going to find on the standard Tiempo Legacy, the firm ground version, if you will. It's a calfskin leather all over with the Hyper Shield lining. So what I like about this is it provides a very consistent uniform touch across the entire foot. And if you wear a Tiempo Legend or even a Tiempo Legacy for firm ground and you want something as an indoor turf shoe that's going to feel very similar, then the Tiempo Legacy is hands down the best option for you if you just want that uniformity as you're going from different types of playing surfaces between your footwear. Now, the calfskin leather that they use here is very soft, very high quality. It moves nicely with your foot and it's very comfortable from right out of the box, as you would expect. You do have the synthetic leather tongue with the memory foam insert in the middle, and the overall comfort of this shoe is absolutely incredible. In comparison to the Lunar Gato 2, you do have more leather, but the leather that you get is arguably not as premium as the Lunar Gato in that shoe features a goatskin leather upper, but of course there's less of it. The midfoot on this shoe is made from leather, whereas on the Lunar Gato, it's a thinner fuse material. So in terms of being more traditional in styling as well as feel, the Tiempo Legacy probably is the better of the two options. Whereas if you want something that's very soft at the front and a little bit thinner and more lightweight towards the midfoot and heel, then the Lunar Gato is probably the better option. So again, everybody's going to have their preferences, but for me personally, I'm a huge fan of the Nike Tiempo Legend, so I personally prefer the Tiempo Legacy, despite it having some downsides in comparison to the Lunar Gato 2. It does have an internal plastic heel counter, the same cut as a standard Tiempo Legend. The heel liner is a perforated synthetic leather with a decent amount of padding, so comfort is not an issue. And as far as the insole is concerned, it is fully removable, features a mesh liner on top, and it's made from a single layer of this gray foam. Good thickness to it, so again, step-in comfort and underfoot cushioning in general is not an issue here. It's certainly not as low profile as what you're going to find from Nike's Elastico line, for example. So again, if you're looking for something that feels like the Tiempo line, like the Tiempo Legacy, it's a good value overall. You can get it in both indoor and turf variations, which is definitely a good thing. And if you're not a fan of the Lunar Gato, but you still want a leather-like sensation from a Nike indoor or turf model, the Tiempo Legacy is a very, very solid option. As far as weight is concerned, I have to say that I was expecting these shoes to weigh a little bit more than they actually do. So they certainly are lighter than expected, which is always a good thing. So I'm going to weigh both the indoor as well as the turf versions of the Tiempo Legacy for you guys in real time. Keep in mind these are both in brand new condition and both the size 9.5 US. We'll start off with the indoor model, throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 9 ounces exactly, which certainly isn't what you would consider to be ultra lightweight. But as far as indoor shoes, especially something that's going to provide a leather touch on the ball all over across the entire foot, as well as a decent amount of underfoot cushioning, 9 ounces is a really good weight range for this shoe to fall into. Take that off the scale and we'll throw on the turf versions of the Tiempo Legacy, and you can see that these guys weigh in at a little bit more, 9.5 ounces, so 0.5 ounces more than the indoor bottom, and that's just because the actual rubber and the pattern they have on the sole of this shoe is a little bit more substantial than what you're going to find on the indoor variation. So that's where the extra half an ounce, or 0.5 ounces I should say, comes into play. Is this a noticeable amount of weight? Not really. And again, it shouldn't be the deciding factor. The deciding factor is whether you're playing on indoor or turf, and that's really how you should go about choosing. But whatever version you go for, just know that while it isn't the lightest shoe around, it certainly isn't a heavy model either. Alright, here's a look at the Tiempo Legacies on feet. And from right out of the box, these shoes are very, very comfortable. For those wondering, there is no difference in fit or sizing between the indoor or turf versions of the shoe. The only difference is the actual sole on the bottom, so please keep that in mind. In comparison to the firm ground or soft ground or even AG Tiempo Legacy, I would say that these seem to fit a little bit wider just in comparison to the outdoor Tiempo line for whatever reason, mainly in the forefoot and toe box area. It's not a significant difference, but something that I did notice pretty much right off the bat. For that reason as well, they are very comfortable from right out of the box. They don't fit quite as tight as, like I said, the outdoor Tiempo models, but it's not too big of a deal. The fit doesn't feel sloppy or anything like that. It's just a very, very slight difference that you probably will notice if you're coming from an outdoor Tiempo model. As far as width is concerned, because it is a natural calfskin, fairly soft leather upper, you will get some stretch out of this shoe, so if it does fit a little bit snug from right out of the box, give it some wear time and they definitely will stretch and form to the exact shape of your foot, making for a more comfortable fit, even from how they feel from out of the box. But overall, it should be suitable for most foot types. Even if you have pretty wide feet, these should fit you quite comfortably, so please keep that in mind. As far as sizing is concerned, also like the outdoor Tiempo models, they run about a half size small. Normally I wear a size 9 US, but in the outdoor Tiempos, as well as these ones right here on my feet, I went up to a 9.5 for the best fit. The fit and the length is now perfect. And again, if you are looking to order a pair of these, I'd recommend going for the same size that you wear in the current Tiempo lineup, or if you're not coming from that line, I'd recommend going half a size up for the best possible fit. So please keep that in mind. Alright guys, that's it for my review of the indoor and turf Nike Tiempo Legacy. I think that even at $100, if you're paying full retail, it is a shoe that certainly is worth the money. You're getting a high quality leather upper, a decent cushioning system under your foot. The fit is really good. And while the indoor traction pattern isn't the best I've ever come across, it certainly isn't bad. And again, the durability you're going to get out of both the indoor and turf versions of the shoe is going to be pretty good overall. So again, at retail price, you can always catch it under retail as well. It is definitely a shoe that I can recommend, especially if you're not a huge fan of the Lunar Gato 2, which is also a great model that you should consider if you were looking at this shoe as well. But overall, again, really good shoe that I definitely can recommend to you guys. If you want more information, check out the review page on my website. There'll be a link to that down below in the description. You'll find the high quality images as well as buy it now links with the best prices online, including exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you can, like I said, pick these up below their retail price and all of the currently available colorways. So be sure to check that out if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave those down below in the comment section and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. That would be greatly appreciated. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.